All right, cursive handwriting lesson number 2. We will be doing spiked letters. So this motion that we worked on before we started, that starting low, going high, tracing over, swooping through, those are spiked letters. So our spiked letters are going to be I, T, U, W, P, and J. So you'll notice some similarities between cursive letters and print letters. So what do you notice about I? It still gets dotted, it's still short. T goes tall, it gets crossed. U is shorter and rounded. W has 2 bumps at the bottom. P still is rounded with a straight line that goes down below ground. J swoops up, comes down, goes down below ground, has a little tail just like it does in print, and you also dot it just like in print. So if you notice some differences, it's curvier, right? So it's connected, it's swoopier. You've got a tail coming in and a tail leaving. Why is that? Because we're connecting to the letter before and the letter after. That's what cursive does. You keep going with the motion. You don't have to pick up your pencil and start over usually, not very much. So with cursive, you're keeping that continuous motion going, okay? So for letter I, now I'm doing it at a raked angle so that you can see, but I want you to have your paper nice and flat. Like I talked about before, you can use a marker, pen or pencil, whichever you'd like. So I've darkened my starting line. I've made it red so that I can see where I'm starting from, because it's really important that we portion our letters out. So I stays above ground, but it has a dot a little bit higher. So I'm going to start above ground, swoop it in, up, spike it up, and come through, then I dot it. You always dot it later, okay? So you do the body of the letter, swooping through, and then you dot it. Start low, swoop up, spike it, swoop through, dot it. So that's why they always say dot your I's and cross your T's, because you do it later. You don't forget to do it. So you go through the word, you go through your motion, and then you come back, you dot it, then you come back and cross your T. So starting low for T, we're going to reach up 2 lines because it's nice and tall, swoop through, then go back, lifting up, writing, and then you cross your T. So starting low, swoop up, spike it up, through, and cross your T. Okay? Nice job. U stays low and it's more curvy, but there are those spikes and swoops. Not loops, but spikes. Spikes go up and come down on the same line and then go through. So starting low, spike up, swoop around, and through. Start low, swoop up, spike it up, and through. So U's tail stays low. You're going to notice the difference with W, swooping through twice, 2 bumps for W, but then your tail stays high to the midline. So swooping up once, twice, and stay high with it. See that? The difference? You came down low for U, you stayed up high for W. So start low, swoop up, spike up twice, and stay high with your tail. So for instance, if I were writing the word wig, and I'm going to start with W, W, swoop up to the I, around for the G, through. You see that there? I stayed high. If I had a word like gut for U, I would start with a G, come through, U, stay low, connected to the T, gut. You can see that's a U. It stayed low, the tail was low on the line, the lower line. W stays up high with its tail to connect to the next letter, so you can tell that that's a W rather than a U. Okay, moving on to P. P stays low, spikes up, comes all the way down below ground, around and through. So your wing stays up above ground, but your tail went down below ground to another line. So P up, down, around, and through. There's P. J is similar. It goes down below ground, but that does have a loop for its tail. So starting low for the first part of J, swoop around, come back up and rest on the beginning line. Then you dot it. So you do your motion, then you come back and dot it. Swoop up, spike up, come around and through. There is space in that loop. Up, around, and through. All right, there's your spiked letters. I'd love to see a full page front and back of spiked letters. So if you notice similarities from print to cursive, I is still short, it has a dot. T is still tall and has a cross. U still has one bump. W still has two bumps. P comes around and it goes lower into the underground. J still swoops down and is dotted. There's our spiked letters. I'd love to see them.